It's not over, bro. Your story doesn't end here. Your story hasn't come to an end. The end is not near. You simply just encountered a roadblock. All right. It's just an obstacle in your path. This isn't the end. All you have to do is beat this obstacle and you'll progress and you'll move forward until you encounter the next obstacle. And you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's almost like the way I like seeing life is it's like a boss rush. I don't know if you guys have played video games before. I know certain video games, like the one that I can name off the top of my head that had it was Kirby. Like the Kirby games, they would have once you beat the entire game, there'd be an option, boss rush, and you just go through all the bosses in the game until you reach the final boss. At times, that's how it feels like with life. You're just going through bosses, 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 bosses. In some cases, literally, like sometimes your obstacle could be your boss at work. Not necessarily that they're like oppressing you per se or that they're like terrible people. It's just that the job, you don't want to be at the job and the boss makes you do things that you don't want to do. It could be something as simple as that. Again, that doesn't make them a bad person. They're just simply, in your case, if you're somebody who wants financial freedom, in a way, your boss is a boss. I don't know if that makes him the final boss, but it makes him a boss, an obstacle. And that doesn't mean that you crush him. That doesn't mean that you hit him with a sledgehammer. All right, don't be stupid. You don't hurt him in any way, shape, or form. You just simply have to escape. You have to escape, and the moment you're able to escape, the moment you're able to leave that job, the boss is defeated. And I don't know. I was thinking about this yesterday while I was writing, which is another quick tip I'll give you guys. I'll make a separate video on that another time. But writing brings so much mental clarity, and it almost, you can almost, I said this a couple months ago to myself, and I might have said it on video. I don't remember what video, but I literally wrote myself back into motivation one night. Like there was this one night where I just wasn't feeling it, and I had some things going on in life. I didn't feel like giving up per se, but I just felt like out of it. I was kind of just like I was just going through the motions. And I sat down and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And I eventually like rekindled my flame so much so to the point where, if I'm not mistaken, I dropped down and I hit like 200 push-ups, and it was at like 12 at night. Now I probably shouldn't have been awake at that time, but it just goes to show you that writing is powerful. All right, not only does it bring mental clarity, in my opinion, it can genuinely bring back your motivation. Like I brought back my motivation. Not that I was losing it, but it just sparked up even more. Like I just got even more fired up. Because I was writing to myself and I just realized that life is just about completing tasks and just getting through obstacles. And you change the obstacles to bosses, it's just beating bosses. Not literally, all right? I'm not saying beating bosses up. I'm just overcoming them. And it makes the chase, it makes the process so much more enjoyable because you reframe it. Now it feels like, like let's say me, for example, I want financial freedom. I want to be able to become an entrepreneur and not have to rely on another job for my source of income, not have to rely on a boss telling me when and when not to clock in and clock out. And that just makes the process like so much more enjoyable. It makes the story so much more enjoyable. It almost feels like I'm at war. And I try not using that analogy because war isn't like a light term. It just feels like I'm in battle. All right, that doesn't mean that there's gonna be casualties. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna knock out my coworkers if they stand in my way. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. It just means that I have a task at hand, and until that task is completed, I really can't rest. Like that's all I'm focused on. Like, how do I get out? How do I escape? How can I achieve my mission? How can I achieve my goal? What do I need to do? And it's the little things that just bring me just one step closer. You want to know what one of those little things are? This video right now. This video right now. If you're watching right now, whether or not you like or dislike the video, you are helping bringing me one step closer to that goal, to be able to escape. You're bringing me closer. And it just makes like it. Now I understand why people say things like, you gotta love the game. You really gotta love the game. You gotta love the game. You keep putting that work in, you keep doing what needs to be done, you will be rewarded. you will be rewarded handsomely as well. And it just makes the process so much more enjoyable, especially when you run out of motivation. And you just remember that consistency. Not only will it bring back your motivation, it will just bring you, it will just keep moving you forward, even if you feel like you aren't, even if you don't feel it, even if you're just going through the motions. You keep showing up, you keep doing what needs to be done, you will move that needle. All right, you will be that needle mover. I don't know why I did that. That's not a needle mover, that's a fucking gun. But you will be that needle mover. There you go. You you will bring back your motivation one day. And people say things like, "Oh, you don't need motivation. All you need is discipline." Discipline is essential, absolutely. But it's always nice to have motivation, all right? Those days where you're just at work and you just feel it, you just feel that fire in your heart, you just feel that spark of energy, you just feel that rush. Feels amazing, bro. Feels amazing. That doesn't mean that the days you don't feel it, you shouldn't work, but it's just better to have that fire in you, that fire in you burning, igniting at its very best. It's just an amazing thing to see. And I'm gonna wrap this up now. I don't know if you heard that, but my shoulder just cracked. This thing is not doing good. It's not over. You just have to defeat the boss, and then you'll be on to the next one. That'll be easy.